Hi, this is Teddy Burris of Burris Consulting, your social media strategist, consultant, trainer, and coach. And in this video that I hope to be able to present to you in less than about 15-20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through building a professional LinkedIn profile. So those of you who have attended my seminars, you've already had the ebook associated with building a professional LinkedIn profile. This is the video that will complement that ebook. And so I hope you get value from this video. So step one to building a professional LinkedIn profile is to decide on what are the keywords that are the words or phrases that your clients, your prospects, your network is using to find you. And those keywords are words that I'm going to want to recommend that you use throughout your profile as you build your profile. You can see that in the headline, and this that I've highlighted is my headline, I have used my keywords very deliberately. These are the words and phrases that the people that I do business with use to find me. And so I've used those keywords in my headline. They also represent my title, and I have no major aversion of putting your title in your headline. But if you don't put your keywords with your title, then you're reducing the ability for your LinkedIn profile to help you be found. So step one, decide what your keywords are so that you can use those throughout your profile. And again, I'll show you in those areas. Once you know what your keywords are, again, the words that your customers, your prospect, your network uses to find you or your competitors, and hopefully they find you with those words, then you're ready to move forward building your profile. Building your profile, you want to use a picture, and you want it to be a somewhat recent image of who you are so people can recognize you. Having a LinkedIn profile picture shows that you are approachable, and if you're building a public profile, you want to present that you're approachable. So that's why I use my picture of me. It's only a few years old, and you can see I use one that fills up the entire box. You know that it fills up the entire box when it brings up the little looking glass, so you can bring up a larger image of the picture. With your picture in there, you want to use the name, your name that you are known in business. So if there's a nickname or a maiden name that's relevant to who you are in business, then you can use that name there. Otherwise, just use your first, maybe middle, and last name. Really, I'm not a fan of attaching accolades or MBA, PhD, et cetera, on the end of your name. You can. It won't get in the way, but make this profile all about the person. So that's why I recommend use your name there, just your name. Again, here's my headline. This is not a title, it's my headline. And so you can see I populated my headline with my keywords. When these are the words that represent who I am and what I do. The area below here is the region you're in. If you're in a small city like Advance, North Carolina, or maybe Rural Hall, I would recommend you use a region instead of a city there. And I use the zip code 27101, which lets me use the region, Greensboro, Winston-Salem. This is the industry that you're in. It's a finite list. So pick the most relevant industry that you are in, and that's what you put here. And that's all you can do in this top section right here. I'll show you over on this screen that the way you edit that is that you're in profile, edit profile, and then there's the pencil for edit name, there's the pencil for edit headline, pencil for editing your region and your industry, and you can't change, don't change these here, you'll change those later, and there's the link to change the picture. Once you have that top section, then you want to work on your contact information. In your contact information, you can have multiple email addresses on your LinkedIn profile. I encourage you to put a personal email address as well as a business email address. Because this is your personal LinkedIn profile, and if your business changes, the company you work for changes, then at least you'll have your personal email address associated with your profile as well. having the way you add a new email address. Again, I'll go back here under contact information, and you basically click on the pencil. That's going to open another box that you have to log into your settings, and you can add another email address. When you add the other email address, you have to be able to get to that email to confirm it, and then once you confirm the email address, you can change and decide which one is the primary. This is my primary email address. Back to view mode here. Phone number, if you want to be accessible via telephone, then use your put a phone number there. This is my business phone number. Some executives, I would encourage you to put the primary office phone number. You don't need to put your DID number. If you're using Skype or some other instant messaging, you can put that there. I use it for my Skype. This area above here, this is only visible. The phone number and email address is only visible to the people you are connected to. This area below, still in the contact information, if you are in fact using Twitter, then you can put your Twitter handle there. And when you put your websites, don't use company website or personal. Use the option other. I'll show that to you here. Go back to edit. Come down here and click on the pencil to edit. You can see I use the option other, which lets me name it, and then I can put the URL in it. If I use the option company or personal, then I can't name it. Using other just makes it look way better when people view your profile. And the last section in the contact information, I'll go back to the edit mode, is your LinkedIn personal profile URL. And you're going to want to customize that. If I go into it, you'll see that I'm looking at my public profile. Not only can I customize it and decide what I want to be seen when people search for me in Google, Yahoo, and Bing, I want all of my content to be visible. But I can also customize the URL. You use the pencil there, and you can select just this last section right here, and I chose TL Burris. And when you customize it, your URL will be www.linkedin.com/in/whatever you put here. And that's how you edit, and that's my recommendations for your contact information. Oh, by the way, you have the ability to put address in here. Let me share that with you. If I go back to contact information, I'm in edit mode. I can put an address. I really don't recommend putting an address unless you are in a brick and mortar that is open to the public visiting you. Otherwise, I don't put an address. So the next section of my LinkedIn profile that I want to share with you on how to build a professional profile is the summary section. So in the summary section, again, you'll notice that my keywords are the most important piece in this text. And the very first sentence I write includes my primary keywords, which pretty much represents my headline that I put in my headline up top here. It's pretty close, not exact. That is my first sentence in my headline, telling the reader who am I and what do I do. When you write your summary section, I want to encourage you to write it first person, and I want you to use the philosophy of telling the reader, I can, I do, and I enjoy. And what I mean by that is tell a story first person so the reader knows what's your skills, what's your capabilities, what are you educated, trained, and experienced in. Tell the reader what you do, your accomplishments, your successes, the things that you have done to help your customer, your prospect, and the people that you serve. And the last philosophy is the I enjoy philosophy. Too often people miss out on too often people perceive their LinkedIn profile as a duplicate of their resume. It is not. It is your public billboard. It's your public story. It does not need to match specifically your resume. It needs to be relevant to it. It needs to show that you're telling the same story, but tell it in a different way. And the only thing you want to talk about on your LinkedIn profile is what you have done and what you do that's relevant to who you are. So when you write your LinkedIn summary section, use your keywords as often as you can. Put them in relevant, well-written, crafted, clear-to-read sentences, and use your keywords as often as you can. And this is how you build what's called a keyword-rich LinkedIn profile. But make sure you're writing these sentences appropriate, English, written, clearly defined sentences. You don't want to just write quote-unquote gobbledygook. You can, at the bottom of your summary section, repeat your primary specialties, repeat the primary areas that you do business in, which will then give you ability to write your keywords again. And when you write this list out, don't put it in a big paragraph, comma, word, comma, word, comma, word. I encourage you to write it out in a list form. It's way easier for people to find that or find this when they're reading your summary section. Also in your summary section and as well as in your experience section, you have the ability to attach documents and images. If I go back to edit mode, if I scroll down to my summary section, you'll see that right here is a button. I'm in edit mode. This button lets me click to add video, images, documents, and presentations. So I can click and attach objects. Usually they're either documents, PowerPoints will be from SlideShare. They can also be links to sites on your on the internet. For me, I show my skills section next. In your skills section, these are more keywords. They might be different than your primary keywords, and so you can have up to 50 skill words. There's 25 not shown. I think there's 15 here and 10 up top. These are my 10 primary skill words. You want to pick skill words that represent who you are and what you do today. Skill words that are relevant to who you are and what you do today. If you have a skill word from a past job or a past position that's not relevant to who you are today, I encourage you to get rid of it. It doesn't help you. And also you have the ability to shuffle these skill words around. If I go back to edit mode, if I scroll down to my here and click on add a skill, I already reached my limit. I have all 50, but you'll see that I can take and move this right here, and I can put it up here and put it in front of blogging. I can take social networking and put that up here if I want to, or put it somewhere else. Whatever, I can move these around. You want the top 10 to be the most important skill words that represent who you are and what you do. And again, you want to remove any skill word that is not remove any skill word that is not relevant to who you are and what you do today. Next section I show is my experience section. Experience section is what you do today and what you have done in the past. Again, this I use my keywords as often as I can. Instead of just putting a title here, this might represent a title. I wouldn't put accounts receivable clerk. I wouldn't put operations manager. Maybe I'd put operations manager, put some other words that represent who I am and what I do. Very deliberate thought process when you're defining and picking your keywords. But this is not just my title. It is my keywords: LinkedIn, social media, Twitter, Facebook. And then again, my first sentence of the current position I hold, I use my keywords in a very deliberate sentence as a list my keywords. I'm fortunate to be able to help others. So the same philosophy in your experience section. I want you to write, I can, I do, I enjoy. What do you do to help others? What's your value add? How can you help others create success or solve their problems? I can is your experience, your training, your education that validates who you are and what you do. And furthermore, and the last piece is the I enjoy. People want to do business with people who enjoy doing what they do. So when you write your experience section, and I'll repeat this back up top in your summary section, when you write your summary section, make sure you use the philosophy I enjoy and tell people that you love doing what you do, you enjoy helping others, you enjoy creating value, you enjoy doing what you do. Again, down in the experience section, I can, I do, and I enjoy. You'll notice that I have another position. This is another department of my organization. I'm a career transition coach, so I talk about what I do here, how I help others in career transition. I've currently listed, and I still do work for Forsyth Tech. I listed my keywords here, and I talked about what I do with them in a simple way. It's not a big part of my business, and I use my keywords again. In my previous positions, you'll notice that if the previous position was a big position for me, important for me, but not relevant to who I am today. For this job that I had for 5 years, I only have 2 sentences. And I really speak to the fact that it was a great job because of the friends and contacts I made. Yes, I was successful doing strategic technology consulting, but I don't talk about much other I did there because it is not relevant to who I am today. The other position I have listed is working for some friends of mine, a Bud Group. You can see I worked for them for almost 9 years. I have 1 paragraph. I did a lot for that organization in many different aspects. But again, it's not relevant to who I am and what I do today, which is why I don't speak about that. The next section that I have listed is publications. So in my publications, I listed, I'm a writer, so I have links to lots of my content. I wrote for the Greensboro News and Record. I wrote for Career Realism. I'm a LinkedIn author. I wrote for USA Today. And so I listed the articles that are relevant to what I do. And when I listed them, I also, because I have the ability to type text here, I again use the philosophy of use my keywords as often as I can in appropriate sentence structure. So I have my keywords built throughout all of my publication content. If you have no online content, it's not important for you to use publications. It's really focused to online content. For my career transition folks, you could put your resume in Dropbox or Box.com or Google Docs, and you can link your resume there. And as a career coach, I have my resume there, and I think it comes from pulls from Dropbox. The next section I have on my profile is certifications. And let me show you something quickly. So if I have a section that I'm speaking about that you don't have, I'll go back here, go back to the top, and you'll see that here are the sections. Add a section to your profile. So I'll click on View More. Here's all the sections that I could add that you may not have today. I probably have most of these that are relevant to who I am. But again, you can get the sections that I speak about when you're in edit mode on your profile. Profile, edit profile. You can get those right top here. Add a section to your profile. So in my certifications section, again, I list certifications that are relevant to who I am and show professional development. Probably the only other reason I would talk about something that's not relevant to who I am today is if it shows growth, professional development, professional growth. That's also important to share. So these are my key certifications that I have relevant to what I do today. And unfortunately, LinkedIn uses the phrase starting. And I wish it would say achieved or acquired instead of the word starting. But that's when I got certified in these different areas. Courses are continued ed courses. I'm a fan of Coursera. I've got a couple other classes I should add here. So if you have any courses that show professional development and are relevant to who you are and what you do, it'd be great to show those courses there. The next section I have is volunteer experiences and causes. These are the areas that I volunteer in. My business is a little unique. 50% of my time is volunteering. So this is very relevant to who I am and what I'm doing, what I do for a living. So I'm on their board. I'm also their social media strategist. But here's the volunteer work I do for career transition. And you'll see throughout here where relevant, I use my keywords to show people, again, to get the opportunity to use keywords wherever I can. And you can show volunteer work in your community as well. People want to do business with people who volunteer and help others. It's a big characteristic of hiring, looking for people who are involved in their communities. And this is volunteering from the past and volunteering from the past. But that does show relevance because that was my public speaking training. Education, higher education only. No high schools, no middle schools, no elementary schools. So I went to the University of Maryland College Park, focused on business, and so I have it there. You do not need to put the year that you went to school, so I don't have the year on there. The next area I have is additional information. And additional information is 3 primary sections. First of all, it has interests, and these are interests for you as a person, as an individual, as in life, career, business, and community. And you can see I got grandkids, family, having fun, fabulous people, funny movies, but I also have LinkedIn, Facebook. I love this stuff. It really is an interest of mine. It's not just a job. Blogging like a wild man. I love the blog. Helping others, coffee. So show people who you are as a person. Personal details. I do show my birth date. And the reason why I do that is it creates an opportunity for engagement. I engage with people who have birthdays and anniversaries and career transition activity. I do not show my marital status. I don't think that's important for my LinkedIn profile. The third section, in additional information, is advice for contacting you, or in this case, Teddy. So again, I want to tell a story here. If you're looking, look what I wrote, if you're looking for your LinkedIn trainer, et cetera, then we need to talk. So think about that when you say your first sentence. If you're looking for your skill set, whatever your value add is, say to the reader, if you're looking for what I do, then let's talk. And then maybe speak a little bit about how you help people, how you solve problems, how you create value in business and in community. And so this is what I do, and this is what I talk about. And again, I use my keywords in lots of different places here, because this is another area that gets searched during LinkedIn and Google searches. Honors and awards, another area that you can share. This is, again, stuff that's relevant to who I am and what I do. Dale Carnegie graduate, Sandler sales training, Toastmaster, as well as well-trained and experienced in life. The next section is our organizations, and these are organizations that I'm a part of. I'm a part of some nonprofits, some men fellowship groups, and some other professionals in the area, and so I share that. The one caveat or the one word of wisdom that I would offer here is stay between the lines. If you're in organizations that are left or right winged or not quite mainstream and acceptable to the general public, I wouldn't talk about it under organizations or under your volunteer work. I would leave that off of your LinkedIn profile. Once you create a relationship with somebody, then you can tell them about those activities if you want to have that conversation. So that is primarily how to build a link, the areas that you want to populate for building a LinkedIn profile. Start with building your keywords, your headline, picking your region, your industry. You put your contact information in there very deliberately. Write a summary statement that says, I can, I do, and I enjoy. Use your keywords as often as you can throughout this text. Populate your skills. The first 10 should be the most important skill words for you in regards to who you are and what relevant to what you do. You can have 50. Try to get 50. If you don't, that's not the end of the world. Your experience section, again, this is not your title. It can be, but populate it with keywords. It's the number 2 searched field on LinkedIn and Google searches in LinkedIn data. Pick the company. When you add your company, pick it from a list. Don't type Burris Consulting, Inc. and hit enter. Type a few words or letters of the company name and select it from a list. You'll see what I mean when you go to add that. Again, in your experience section, talk about I can, I do, and I enjoy. First person. And don't talk about stuff that is not relevant to who you are and what you do today. So that is the content that I share in my LinkedIn webinars on how to build a powerful LinkedIn profile. Hope that was useful. And I hope you're able to build a powerful and bold LinkedIn profile. This is Teddy Burris of Burris Consulting Incorporated, your social media strategist, consultant, coach, and trainer. Thank you for letting me share this with you.